back to this and much more. Article 3 Project founder Mike Davis. Mike, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, Jack Smith resigns from the Justice Department, but is this the end of the story? His prosecutions failed. Will he face repercussions?
He must, because it is very clear that Jack Smith politicized and weaponized his office to go after President Trump and his aides and his allies. They ran a coordinated campaign from the Biden White House. Biden's fingerprints are on all four of these unprecedented criminal prosecutions of the former president. Jonathan Sue, Biden's deputy White House counsel, is the one who waived President Trump's claim of executive privilege on behalf of President Biden that led to the Mar-a-Lago raid and the two Jack Smith indictments. Matthew Colangelo, deployed from the number 3 office in the Biden Justice Department to go to Alvin Bragg's office, the Soros-funded Manhattan DA, to bring this bogus indictment in New York. And then you had Nathan Wade, Fani Willis's dumb, unqualified boyfriend in Fulton County, Georgia, being dumb enough to bill his time to meet with the Biden White House. So yes, there must be accountability. It's called 18 USC Section 241, conspiracy against rights, a very serious federal civil rights felony.
It has to be. You can't just let it go. There has to be justice here. There has to be some repercussions. And I'm glad that you've been adamant about this from day one. It is not okay. It is a crime. It is illegal, and it needs to actually be investigated and prosecuted. Okay. And meanwhile, this Judge Merchan continued his stupid circus last week, trying to defend his behavior in that sham New York case. Now, doesn't this entire spectacle perfectly explain, why Americans have such little faith in the justice system?
That's exactly right. The American people heard all of these allegations by these Democrat prosecutors and agents and witnesses and judges and other Democrat operatives, these co-conspirators against Trump, his top aides like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, who went to prison for constitutional executive privilege going back 250 years to George Washington. They went after his supporters on January 6th, Trump supporters, and politically persecuted them, according to the Supreme Court's Fisher decision last June. And I would say this, that all of these people who were involved in this co-conspiracy against rights, they are absolutely liable under 18 USC Section 241. And that includes judges like Judge Juan Merchan. They are not immune from the civil rights statute to protect Americans' rights.
No, you're absolutely right. Believe me, I made 13 hours of testimony for January 6th. It's a whole witch hunt, completely politicized. I'm still dealing, Mike, as you know, with cases about this and subpoenas and document requests and all of the above. I mean, it's just sheer madness and insanity. And meanwhile, Article 3 Project, you guys are working around the clock to make sure President Trump's nominees, have the support that they need and are swiftly confirmed. Hearings begin this week. Tell us everything.
Well, I would say this, Kimberly, when these nominees when President Trump nominated Kash Patel and Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard and some of these others, you had a lot of these very smart people in Washington who said that all of these nominations are dead on arrival. And so the Article 3 Project did a shock and awe media campaign, and we got almost 100,000 calls and emails into these home state senators from their constituents. And in about 3 days after the nomination, we went from dead on arrival to when can they start? And so I think the Article 3 Project gave these very smart insiders in Washington, including these senators, a very fast attitude adjustment.
I just love it. You've got to be that way. You know what I mean? Like, you can't let them play t-ball. You play t-ball and they're playing, fastball. Like, it's unbelievable what can happen. But I've seen the lessons, and you guys have been part of history in terms of showing what can happen if you actually fight back and just don't sit there and take it. You actually have to go on offense. And let's talk about this, because I know our viewers are fascinated by this whole process. Can you give us a little bit of a rundown, of how these hearings actually work?
Yeah, I mean, I was the chief counsel for nominations on the Senate Judiciary Committee for the first 2 years of President Trump's first term, and we confirmed a record number of President Trump's judges, including Justice Gorsuch, for whom I clerked, Justice Gorsuch, where I led the fight to confirm him, and then Justice Barrett when I started the Article 3 project. And we're ready this time. This is what President Trump did not have last time. He did not have outside support groups like the Article 3 project, who had a deep understanding of the inner workings of Washington, but have essentially redheads like me who are ready to fight every second of every day to win. And so that's what we're doing with the Article 3 project. They're going to have the confirmation hearings for many of these cabinet picks, most of the cabinet picks over the next week. You'll see within hopefully the first few days of President Trump's inauguration, he's going to have most of his cabinet in place, and the rest of his cabinet needs to be in place shortly thereafter, and the rest of his executive branch team needs to get confirmed. We can't have it like we had last time, where it took 18 months to confirm some people to his, for example, to assistant attorneys general in his Justice Department. It's not going to happen this time. We're not going to be duped by the Russian collusion hoax, crossfire hurricane. President Trump is coming in eyes wide open, and he knows last time he made personnel mistakes. He's not going to do it this time. He's making sure he's hiring competent loyalists. You cannot be one or the other. You have to be both competent and loyal.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, and we just don't have time, for any like switching this out, this and that. Like, let's just get it done with the right people, you said, that are competent and loyal. There were too many people in there where it was like, we have, danger, in the tent. It's just, it's unbelievable. You cannot have that. It's a liability. It's a vulnerability that must be prevented at all costs. So talk to me about the FBI and, what do we have to do? We have to wait for Wray to resign, or how's that playing out?
Kash Patel is probably the pick I'm most excited about, because this guy is a bold, fearless, highly skilled national security attorney, operator. He's been a public defender. He's been a national security official in the Justice Department. He got awards from the Obama Justice Department, so they can't say he's too crazy now. He's going to go in there and clean house at the FBI. He's going to clean out the top leadership of the FBI, the deputy directors, the assistant directors, including the assistant directors in charge of the key field offices like the Washington field offices, and even several layers down from that. We're going to turn the FBI back into what it's supposed to do, which is to fight crime, organized crime,
violent
crime,
instead of
crime, and not going after
Americans. Yeah, law-abiding Americans, and weaponizing it against citizens for no reason, politicizing it. It's unbelievable. I know Kash is really excited about it. I'm excited. I know him very well, like you do. I know he's going to do a phenomenal job, and he really does understand the inner workings. He's got that great book, Government Gangsters. It really gives people keen insight at the task at hand and what we're facing and how those people need to go. We got to get rid of all the bad apples in there, the enemies in the tent. And I think it's imperative that we do so, ASAP. And what about some of the other, nominees? Like, how quickly can we get all these people in and the votes? Like, what's the inside scoop?
Yeah, I think the cabinet picks are going to be confirmed within about less than a week of Trump's inauguration for most of them. You might have one the following week. You'll have the cabinet picks in place by the end of January, and you should have the sub-cabinets in place by the end of February or mid-March at the latest. But we need to get moving on this. And I would say to these Republican senators, you're starting to get an attitude adjustment thanks to the Article 3 projects. But remember this, it's not President Trump's job to pick your Senate staffers, and it's not your job to pick the president's team. So as long as the president's nominees are qualified, your job is to confirm them, because it doesn't matter whether you have a policy disagreement or a personality disagreement with these nominees. President Trump won a mandate from the American people, 312 electoral votes, all 7 swing states. He gets to have the team that he picks.
Okay, well, that's very important, as you know. So I am really excited. I hope we get everybody in ASAP. And it's a big process. I'll tell you that much. Doing my application right now. Oh boy.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for the best pick of them all, Kimberly Guilfoyle, for ambassador to Greece, and I'm excited.
Thank you.
I'm already planning my trip to go out there.
There you go. I hope we got and help of God. Fantastic. Yeah. Mike Davis, thank you, my friend. Wonderful to have you on the program, as always. And it's been a pleasure being on this journey with you through this whole election. And now we're going to have the inauguration and these confirmations. So it's great. I think you've been the lucky charm, and you've been right all along. So thank you for always making time for us.
Thank you for your strong support of the Article 3 project. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, I'm a big fan, and everyone make sure that you go check out the Article 3 project and follow all of their work. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
And in closing, we continue to pray for all those impacted by the California fire.